Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist.
This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening.
It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
All right. So we can go wherever you'd like today. I did talk to you about me bringing up part from last time, just to see if you wanted to revisit it. And that was sorry, what's that?
I said we can stick to that.
Okay. Yeah. Not good enough part. Did you recall that interaction, and has anything else come about around that?
I do recall that interaction.
Anything stick with you about it? Or any new developments?
What stuck with me about it was last time I felt like I had a lot of trouble connecting.
Mm-hmm.
Guess maybe I just had parts that didn't want to go there.
Right. Yeah.
Right now, I know there's parts of me that feel like I'm not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
What's coming up is parts that kind of use some self-doubt. Kind of have a big career decision coming up in my life pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
So that's coming to mind. Just feelings of, why am I doing this? I'm going to regret this. What if I fail? Kind of going through all those scenarios when you take, a risk on yourself. I think most humans can relate to that in some form or fashion.
Mm-hmm. So that's mostly about the career stuff?
Yeah, that just kind of came up right away. Not good enough. I'm not good enough to do this. If this move worked out well for me, it would be a huge boon for me in a lot of different ways. And there's almost a feeling of that can't happen for you. Yeah, I guess just a feeling of you shouldn't do this. I guess a part that kind of wants to keep me a little bit smaller and a little bit safer, which I do appreciate.
Yeah, you appreciate what it's concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
Any other parts that are coming up to object or have concerns about you meeting with that part that doesn't feel good enough about the career move or about anything?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are other parts. I mean, I guess that career move is happening, so it's not like the self-doubt part is overwhelming. I just have awareness of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily want it to go away.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I kind of thought to myself this week, just times when I was thinking to myself, was, well, these self-doubt parts are also some of my parts that drive me to gather information and research and prepare, just different things like that. So it's not all bad.
Right. And that can be a message that you send to those researching, preparing parts, that you understand and that we're not trying to get rid of them either.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And there doesn't feel like a lot of disagreement about that or anything like that inside. Really, I feel like my parts have kind of allowed me to move forward in the ways that I feel like is best. I don't feel like there's been any sort of dissonance inside of myself about the choices I'm making. So
yeah, it sounds like it. And it sounds like you were saying, you notice a not good enough part, but it's not overwhelming. And your first instinct, or at least where you are now, is not to make it go away.
Yeah. That part is afraid of, like, what if I am a failure though? Or what if I do fail?
Yeah.
So it's not overwhelming, but there is, I guess that's sort of what'll happen if it doesn't do its job.
Is the afraid of failure about the things that will happen out in the world, or is its biggest concern about triggering that feeling of not good enough?
Really both.
Okay.
If I fail, then that'll be proven true. At least that's what this part feels like. It doesn't want that to be true.
Yeah.
Because if it is true, then this part feels like there's no point in me being here.
Right.
I have to succeed.
Yeah.
There's part of me. Honestly, I'm aware enough of my internal world to know that it's not just a part, it's really multiple parts that carry this. I have to succeed to earn the love that I ultimately want.
Yeah. You've seen that in several parts.
Yeah. I've seen it in several of my parts, several of other people's parts.
Yeah, me too.
It's, I guess I'd call it a bit of an achiever mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even necessarily think you have to have achieved much to have this mindset, but I think with it comes parts that I've internalized in some way, that my success, my accomplishments, what I can do is how I can earn the love that I really want.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. It sounds to me like a part that it sounds like a protective kind of manager part that strives in order to keep those feelings of unlovable or not loved or not good enough from being triggered.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel towards that one that strives?
Right now, what's prevalent is a certain level of understanding. I guess if I use one of the 8 C's, it would be clarity.
Mm-hmm.
It's clarity on what it's trying to do. There is curiosity, but I want to be respectful of this part.
Mm-hmm.
I presume to know everything, but I feel like I have a pretty good understanding that there are various ways where I feel like because I am this, I am worthy enough, or if I am this, I am worthy enough.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. And is it aware of you? Does it see that you get that?
it can feel my presence right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking of some things that have happened in my life. Being reminded of when I was growing up. One of probably the number one reason I would ever get in physical fights at school, which got in quite a few, was somebody called me stupid or insinuated that I was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It would be really triggering for me.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of thinking about how that shows me that my intelligence in a lot of ways is very sacred to me. And for somebody
Mm-hmm.
to doubt that or try to take that away from me was
Mm-hmm.
worth fighting over.
Yeah.
I also remember that, I mean, my mom would get mad at me, and sometimes in her anger, she'd ask me if I was stupid.
Mm.
I did something wrong.
Yeah.
I made some kind of mistake.
Yeah.
That I would be, she'd be angry.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're seeing those times when that not good enough part was triggered, provoked, poked by the world,
Yeah.
people around you, and then the striver and the fighter coming up to push back.
Really, yeah, I guess that fighter part is a bit of a firefighter. Some alliteration there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I could have some experience with that part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of those times, and well,
Yeah.
not really. I was well, at some point I did just realize I can't be getting fights all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the same with that firefighter part. You can invite it to notice you. Let it know that you get how painful it is to other parts, to not good enough parts to hear that stuff. And those other parts, those exiles, might still kind of feel like they're stuck back there. And so you can ask these protectors how they feel about you going to work with that. Any parts that feel like they're not good enough.
Well, um, I'm sitting here and I feel uncomfortable in the way that you can feel uncomfortable when you're sitting with somebody who's really upset. There's a part of me that really doesn't want to do that. That kind of is saying, um, I don't want to feel all of that right now.
Right,
It
right.
feels like a lot of energy, and I don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah. And these other protectors have their other ways of trying to keep you from feeling that. I just want to let them know that if you are going to work with other parts, you don't have to blend entirely with them. You don't have to feel everything that they felt to get their stories. In fact, you can negotiate with them ahead of time and say, here's, I have this much energy and I have this much self energy available. Can you share some of your story without overwhelming me? And if they say yes, then they'll do it. But there's also no hurry. We don't have to do anything that your system is not on board with doing.
What my system is directing me is What just came to my mind is secretly, deep down, I want my dad's approval more than anything.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then I had the thought of, well, what about my mom's approval? And um, well, it's not that I don't want that too. I guess I kind of feel like I have that.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, what just keeps coming to me is just deep down, I want my dad's approval more than anything.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
that's not really something I ever think about or would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a part. It's a deep down part. Sounds like an exiled part.
And I feel like I'm being told a secret. I don't know. On one hand, I feel like that's not the most profound statement in the world. Oh, you really desire the approval of one of your parents. On another hand, I feel like it's buried enough that it, yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah.
weird to say out loud. It feels like
Yeah.
I'm breaking a
I
rule
think,
almost.
yeah. Any part that's trying to dismiss that as not profound or not, or silly or whatever, ask those parts for space. And if you're okay hearing a secret and accepting it from these deep down parts, just let them know that. They can share their secrets with you.
Yeah, I guess, not really, I guess. I'm being told that my dad's approval would make me feel like I am good enough.
Does that make sense to you?
It does.
Okay.
And there's a lot of, I can feel that sadness. Um, there's some intensity.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a little difficult to pick out, oh, this is that part and this is that other part, but I definitely can tell that that initial sadness that I described is kind of feeling like when you're sitting with somebody else who is sad and kind of, yeah, that energy transfers to you a little bit. I feel that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And that's what you can negotiate with the part. Like we said, you can let it know how much and what volume that you're okay with hearing its secrets, hearing what it has to say, and seeing its sadness.
so I have a part that really wants my dad's approval
Yeah.
and feels like that would fix everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because the question that I'm compelled to ask is, what would that approval look like?
Yeah. And that comes from a place of curiosity and compassion for this part.
I guess if he told me that he loved me and was really proud of me,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
part of me thinks that sounds dumb.
Yeah.
And
Ask that part for space.
um,
You can go get with those parts later. Those parts are protectors trying to get around the feelings of this exile. Just invite them to notice you. You okay with how it's showing you the way it feels? Or does it feel like too much?
It's not too much.
Okay.
What's going on is I do recognize that I have protectors that are really trying to protect.
Yeah.
The part that thinks this is dumb, that is calling this weak, that feels like none of this needs to be shown. There's almost an anger coming from that part right now. So I feel compelled to let it know
Turn to
that
that.
I see and recognize it, and that, well, it won't take me over the same way
Right.
this other part won't take me over.
Right.
But
And the anger makes sense. It makes sense as a protective part. It has served you. One thing that might help is to update them with your real age. Just let them know where you are now. How do they respond to that? Are they recognizing you?
Well, that part that kind of is causing me to feel some anger. Well, it's a bit exasperated.
Yeah.
It knows I'm here.
And do you know why it's exasperated?
Well, it's almost like it's talking to me and it's telling me, don't you see that I'm what makes you resilient? I'm not. It doesn't want to be looked at as bad or evil. It's resilient, and that's what it is, and it's helping. It's making me that, and it has to do that, and it just really wants to feel appreciated for that.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? Appreciating it?
I do.
And other parts have told it that it's bad and evil. Other people out in the world saying your anger is not welcome. Just let it know you get that. We're not trying to make it go away. Did it receive that appreciation from you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Would it like anything else from you? Or does it trust you? Again, in listening to exile parts.
It trusts me to be here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You could try asking it what it would rather be doing if it didn't have to work so hard.
I feel like it's already told me.
Mm-hmm. For it to relax, it needs you to be there, recognize it, appreciate it. So anything else it wants you to know?
That part is moved to the side. Um, so it's just watching. And yeah, that was that feeling in my stomach, that feeling of sadness.
Mm-hmm.
It takes me back to some different ways I've been sad in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Does it feel like it's that not good enough part that's taking you back or showing you those?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds to me like it's really important to that part that you understand what it's been like for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, that doesn't have to mean that you relive all that. So let it know that.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling towards it as it shows you some of those memories?
Right now, I just really miss my grandpa.
Okay. That makes sense. This part had a grandpa that showed us some love and isn't around anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is it aware of you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just let it know it's not alone. And do you feel like you're able to make space for that sadness and the feelings that it has without being overwhelmed by it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What else do you notice about that part? Do you see an age?
Not really. I just feel a lot of longing and
Mm-hmm.
wishing. Just,
And does that part feel like you're really getting it? Just what it's been like for it?
yeah.
Does that part feel like it's kind of stuck in a time? Stuck back in those times it was showing you?
Yeah. Um, I'm stuck because this part just feels alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just let it know it doesn't have to be alone. Just like you can be there for the angry part, those other parts, you can be there for it. See if you can get it to just notice you. Notice your presence. How's it going?
It's going.
Mm-hmm. Would you like me to describe some of the future steps that I usually recommend and just see if any of them would feel right for this part?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. So you've met it, you've learned some things about it, you've heard what it wants, you've heard about it missing your granddad and wanting to be told it's loved. And one thing you can do is go back into those times whenever it was not feeling good enough, or wherever those beliefs or burdens were formed, and you can be there for it in the way that it needed someone. So that's kind of like a redo. Again, not having to relive all the memories, but to kind of go back and see how you can redo them with self's presence, with that clarity and that compassion, and just giving it what it needed back then. Another thing you can offer is to kind of bring it out of that time and to come join you. To come join you in your time. Or to just be anywhere, to be in a nicer place if it feels like it's kind of stuck. A lot of times these parts feel like they're stuck, they're alone, they're in a dark, lonely place. And you can update that for it. And you can also look for where it carries those burdens or beliefs in its body, and you can help it give those up. None of them are required. They're all just, and you might think of 100 other things you could do for it. Those are just steps that a lot of these parts respond to. They want to form that relationship with you. They want to have that bond. They want to build that trust and see how your presence can reliably make things better for them. And just relieve them of those burdens.
Okay.
Would you like to try any of those now? Or offer the part if it would like to try any of those? Like going back into...
I think right now
Mm-hmm.
it's best if I just continue to be present.
Great. I think so. If that feels right for you, then, and it feels right for the part, then that's the right move.
Yeah, I think things feel pretty delicate right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it showed you a lot.
Right.
I'll throw one more out there. You could offer to just think of a way with it of how you might be present with it tomorrow. You know, is there a way to stay connected or to reconnect with this part in the future so that you can continue doing just what you're doing? Some people find a place on their body to kind of touch into. You might set an alarm, put it on your calendar, do something. You can just ask the part what it would like around that.
Yeah. Well, um, I know I'm not saying much.
It's fine.
Just
fine. If presence is what it needs, and that's what you're doing it. If you got any questions for me, parts have any concerns, any way that I can help?
Well, I think what I am going to do is I want to sit here for a bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
Yes.
I am just going to be silent.
Okay.
So for our time together, I feel this is probably a good stopping point. So I continue that. I feel very thankful for this past hour. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. You did great. Okay. Enjoy your silence and your presence.
Thank you, James.
Yeah, thank you. Talk to you soon.
Will do.
Okay, bye. Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.